Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Joe Casper. Welcome to the Underground Health Club. We have an amazing program today with our wonderful guest, Philomena Marcus, who's the best nurse practitioner in the city. But before we begin, we need to thank our great sponsor. There's Phil right there. Phil, say hi to everyone.
Hi guys.
But glad you like it. So let's talk. I've been wanting to get you on this show forever. And let me explain about this wonderful woman. I mentioned you on my programs at least 10 times, and you're very modest, but you have done so much for this community as a certified family nurse practitioner. Did I say it right?
Correct.
Okay. And how is a nurse practitioner different than a nurse? Let's start with that.
Well, there are different levels of nursing. You can have an associate's degree, you can have a bachelor's degree. Once you go beyond that and take special classes, they all must be in nursing. You can go for your postmaster's certificate in nursing. It took me quite a few years because I started right at the beginning with the associate's degree, did my bachelor's, did my master's, and then became a certified nurse practitioner. You know,
it's very fascinating that in the state of New Mexico, nurse practitioners can do a lot of things that they can't do in other states.
Correct.
Now, you're originally from New Jersey.
Yes.
What a shock that is.
Yeah.
Now, are the laws different there than here, obviously, right?
Yeah, yes, they are. In a lot of different states. There are about 28 states right now that allow nurse practitioners to practice independently.
Which means you can have your own practice.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So in other words, you don't have to have a doctor above you telling you what to do.
No, we do not. We have independent practice. And a lot of the reasons it's that way in New Mexico is because we have such rural areas.
Right.
Okay. And we can't get doctors and pay their salaries in, you know, a little tiny TRC or some places. Without the nurse practitioners, this state would be in big trouble because we care for the majority of the people in the outlying rural areas.
So you're saying money's a factor, Phil?
Money's a big factor.
In a lot of things in life.
Yeah, a lot of things in life. And we don't even get paid the same as the doctors. We have the same responsibility.
You know, it's interesting because you've helped me personally with my health. And I tell people, they're like, well, Joe, who do you go to? Right here. So when I have health concerns, questions, because, you know, I'm human and things happen, I go to you. And it's interesting that you are great with whether it's blood work or whether it's vitamins and stuff. You know, the way you do things is such another level. And I want to ask you a few things. When people, let's say, have an injury and they go to a doctor and the doctor will say, like, do this, you know, use ice, take ibuprofen. The human body is very complicated, isn't it?
Correct.
Right. So I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all, do you?
It does not.
Right.
It does not. Every person is individual. Their injury is individual. Their illnesses are individual. You can have 10 people with diabetes. They can all respond differently. Everything is individual. And our bodies work as a unit. It's not characterized. You know, your liver over here, your kidneys over there. Everybody works together. So when you look at the patient, you need to look at them holistically. Okay? And drugs are not always the answer. The body wants to be healthy.
Yes.
If you give it the right things to be healthy, it will take care of you. It's kind of like you put good in, you get good out.
Right.
But we need to take care. It's our best asset is our human body. So we need to make sure that we take very good care of it.
You know, it's interesting, Phil, because I was mentioning this today to some people that people will say, you know, like let's say do a health history. And the nurse practitioner or the doctor will say, what's your family history?
Right.
And I have an obnoxious comment back. Well, it's true, but it sounds obnoxious. I go, I'm not going to repeat their behavior. Next question. And the doctor thinks I'm an idiot, or what I told you was, and I said, I'm not going to repeat my dad's behavior, and you go, I get it.
Exactly.
How come some doctors don't get that?
Well, your history is very important. There's a lot of diseases that are familiar where genes get passed down.
Right.
Okay, but not everything. It depends on your behavior also. So just because your father had a heart attack doesn't mean you're going to have a heart attack. You know, you eat properly, you exercise, you do the things that you need to do to make your body healthy. Taking supplements is very important because our food supply in this country is a disaster.
Yes.
Okay, it's chemicaled, it's torched terribly. It's amazing that we're not sicker than we are. So you need to make sure that you're putting good stuff in. But that family history does not have to follow you throughout your whole life. It's what you do also on this planet that's very important.
I completely agree. And you know, it's funny, but you know, when I was younger and my dad had a heart attack when I was in college, I simply said it's not going to happen to me. But I see so many guys that I grew up with, there's family illnesses or the family disease, and the same behavior that mom and dad had, they have the same behavior.
Well, we pick up our family's habits. Okay, if you were a child and you were in a house of smokers, many times, 9 out of 10 times, those children will smoke. But they've also been damaged while their parents were smoking. So I looked years ago. I had to do OMI where we did pronunciations of death.
Right.
And we had to go through these classes over at the UNM OMI facility. And we saw autopsies, and I saw autopsies of people of smokers, and even if you watch, there's a lot of health things that you can see this on. But children of smokers, their insides look like they've smoked their whole life. They get more sicknesses than any other children, respiratory problems, all kinds of things. But cancer just doesn't sit in the lungs. It can go to any organ in the body. And that's what you don't understand. That nicotine, that tar, that goes throughout the body.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
so if you're around someone, I have some people that I know, they smoked pot, and their kids are potheads because that's what they were smelling. You become what you've seen. Okay, if you don't know that it's a good thing to go to school and get a job, and all you saw that, we go to the store and we pocket what we want, that's your way of life. That's what you've learned.
Right.
So if the kids watch bad behavior eating, they don't exercise, you think the kids are going to do that? No. So very few children can break away from that pattern that they've lived with to have a different kind of life. They have to be very strong-willed.
No, that's a great point. And we're going to touch on this, but... And we're back from commercial break. I'm Dr. Joe Casper, and I'm here with our amazing guest, nurse practitioner Philomena Marcus. And we were talking about, Phil, when we went to commercial, about smoking and behaviors and stuff like that. And you mentioned about picking up habits. So one of the habits my mom had, she smoked through both her pregnancies when she had myself and my brother.
I see.
So,
well, it's a miracle then.
what? Then I'm still sitting here.
Yeah. Like you have a doctorate. Yes. Okay.
Yes. So, right, and it's funny. So, growing up with that, my brother and I, we felt cigarette smoking was disgusting. Like, ugh.
I'm so glad.
No, I mean, ugh.
Me too.
Yeah.
Not my mother didn't smoke. My father did, and to this day, you come around me with smoke, and I lose my voice. I start gagging, and I can't stand it.
Now, here's the thing. It's interesting. One day, my mom, went to the doctor. They said you might have cancer. She didn't. Okay, and anyway, she said, "I'm done. Here's my cigarettes." That was the end of it. Like, it wasn't even like.
Good. She got a scare.
And it worked. And she hasn't smoked in 35 years.
That's great.
But she smoked from age 12 to 49.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yes.
And here's the thing is, if you go near with a cigarette, she goes ballistic. Like, the smell of it, she wants to cringe.
Oh, yeah. Reformed people are just wild and crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's really interesting that the whole thing with habits, if you make a conscious decision, can't you fix those problems?
Well, yes, depending on what you're talking about. Okay, you can always turn things around to a point. Let's just use asthma. Asthma can remodel your lung, okay, and it's not a good remodel job, and so that you're not exchanging air like you need to. When you smoke, it's similar that way in the fact that it remodels the lung, and you do develop scar tissue, you do pockets. My husband hasn't smoked in 20-some years, and every once in a great while, he will cough, and I can smell it. So those little pockets are still opening up, even though it's been 20 years.
Wow.
Okay? And when you look at some of these things, when you see patients, well, I stopped smoking here, but darn, I developed kidney cancer or lung cancer. My father hadn't smoked for 20 years, but his prostate cancer came back. It went to his lung, it went to his spine, it went to his brain, it went to his throat. Yeah. So, those things are still in the body. You cannot get rid of everything. You can't get rid of every bad cell either.
This is fascinating stuff. So we mentioned before about food being a factor, and you had mentioned how the food is not good the way it was 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Right.
Now, I'm going to give you my opinion on this because...
Go right ahead.
Okay. I love Albuquerque for a number of reasons.
Exactly.
Here's one of them, which I'm going to say. Down the street, that growers market on Saturday, those are my people. So when I'm getting lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, sprouts that were picked 3 hours earlier or the night before, that's real stuff?
Okay, that's true. I have a patient who is a farmer here in New Mexico, and he said that Monsanto had come onto his property and told him that he had to do XYZ. He informed me that there's no more natural alfalfa. It's all been GMO'd. So how many other things in this state have been changed? And we think that it's growing on this land and it's perfectly fine, but we're not sure. okay?
Yeah, I'll give you that, okay.
And it can be 2,000 miles. That stuff can spray and travel throughout the country. So your land might be clean if you're lucky, but how many things around you are being sprayed and now are on your land and you think you're doing organic? Our country's just not as pure anymore.
I agree, but I guess, Phil, in my head, for me to be somewhat sane, I have to believe now, these guys who do these growers markets on Corrales, they do one here on Saturday, they have small lot of land. It's not their main business. Which
Right,
is
and if you can control that,
yeah.
it's much better.
Right.
Okay.
And I feel that, so, and it's just like, example, like how I make my vitamins. And what did you say when you first met me? You never seen anyone so crazy about making vitamins?
Yes.
Right? But how
And I believe in vitamins.
But how diligent am I?
You're strong-willed with this.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I don't mass produce, and I never will.
You can control it
Yes,
better.
I have control. And people say, well, Joe, something can be mass produced and still be good. I disagree. So let me give an example of eggs. So when someone goes to Whole Foods,
Right.
and let's say I'm making up a name, the Smith family, and the Smith family has eggs that go to a lot of Whole Foods, and they're all natural. They feed the chickens right. Everything's right.
Right.
Somehow, some way, they got to push it a little bit because they have to have a certain quota, right? So how 100% natural can that really be? They have to do something to make sure they produce enough eggs so they can get paid, right?
Yeah, that's why the mass stuff is a little harder.
Right.
I don't see how that can be controlled as well.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah.
But when a person here, I know when I get eggs from, and they produce in their backyard and they have 20 chickens and they don't force them to do anything, that's better than buying even the best stuff in the store.
Well, that's what we do to our chickens. We used to be able to chicken takes about 93 days to grow to full adulthood.
Right.
We've got it down now to 46 days because we got to get them done so we can sell them. And if you ever look at some of the documentaries, which I wish people would look more at documentaries than, the Avengers or something.
Like Forks Over Knives.
Something, yeah,
like that,
so
yeah.
that you actually know what's going on around you and what you're putting in your body. And so, these things, we've changed the way life is.
Yeah.
We've changed natural happenings, growth, everything. It's not the same anymore. And so you've got to be very smart when you're purchasing food because that's going in your body. And our body's very delicate. If I can take a piece of paper and cut myself with it and get a paper cut, imagine when I put something toxic into my body, what it does to my delicate tissues inside. It
I agree.
changes everything in the environment.
I agree. But no one talks about these things, Phil.
Of course they don't.
And you mentioned about the food. I believe in my heart the vitamins should be made the same way. So when I mention Mom's Butter or Muscle Goat or Power Pack, and obviously these are things that I formulate, it's my stuff. I mean, I don't hide it. Is I'm never going to mass produce, and I know I'll make a lot less money that way, because I know if I do it the other way, like everyone else, I won't be the same person.
It won't be the same person.
And I'm cheating.
Right.
And people say, well, Joe, it doesn't matter. It matters to me.
It matters to everyone.
Thank
Okay, look at St. Jude's. It's busting out at the seam.
Right.
50 years ago, we didn't have so many children with cancer and
Right.
leukemia and everything. Autism went from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 50. Not by chance in the last 30, 40 years. We created this. This
Yes,
is
we
the
did.
problem. We're changing what God naturally put on this planet to things that our body cannot tolerate. It cannot process. And so you're going to have a lot more disease entities. People need to look at what they're eating every day. Okay, everything. I don't care if it's the fast food because you're late or, when you're going to the grocery store. You need to look at what you're buying. Our bodies has never adapted to processed foods. The gallbladder, we should have our gallbladder out. We have fatty livers, we have pancreatitis,
Right.
we have diabetes. Think about where is it coming? Where's the base thing that's causing this to happen? Okay.
The food, but here's the thing. You're right with the food, and as a nutrition doctor, I believe 1,000% of what you're saying. But I also see the supplement industry having too many chemicals and fillers, which they don't have to. It's cheating. It's cheating. They don't, and I'd rather them say, you know what? We're doing this because we're trying to save money. At least be honest.
People have to look where they're buying that also. Okay. Yeah, you can go to Walgreens, you can go to any of those places and buy something really cheap, but that's the stuff that's left over that all the big companies didn't want.
Right.
Okay, you're not picking up the stuff that doesn't even produce when you sell it. So somebody's got to buy that junk, and that's who end up doing it. So no offense to those people, I know they need to put things on their shelves, but in reality, you're not buying even pharmaceutical grade. You need to have something that's going to be worthwhile putting in your body, because those things also are going to affect how your body reacts. Okay.
I agree. Listen, we got to go to commercial
Okay.
because they're going to get mad at us. Guys, we have to go to commercial break, but when we get back, Phil and I have lots more to talk about. We'll see you in a minute. Thank you. Hello, folks. I'm Dr. Joe Casper. And when it comes to protein, there's a lot of different products out there. And I'm going to tell you flat out, Muscle Goat protein is the best protein on the market. No chemicals, no fillers. The goats are fed apple cider vinegar in their water every morning. No cows on the property, no cross-contamination. And people who have any kind of health issues can use it. For more information, go to www.musclegoat.com. Folks, we're back for the third and final segment of the Underground Health Club. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Casper, and we have Philomena Marcus on, certified family nurse practitioner who has a wealth of knowledge. And Phil, we were talking about food and vitamins, and you mentioned that stuff on the shelf is not the best thing, is it?
No, it's not. You need to be very picky about what you're putting in your body.
Now, here's a crazy thing. I believe when you go to a store and the vitamins are sitting on a shelf, I don't care what store it is, and that light for 6 months is hitting that bottle, it has an effect on the molecular structure. It has to.
Yes. Herbs and different things do not really expire.
Right.
We have to put an expiration date on things because that's what the FDA wants.
Right.
Okay. But in reality, it'll last a lot longer, all right, than what it says on there. So you can safely use many of those herbs, tinctures, different things for years to come, okay? But we need to go back a little bit and remember what's our body made of. Okay, it's made up of nutrients. It's made up of vitamins and minerals and all kinds of things, microbiome, lots of things that we need to make sure that are working to our benefit. So if you're never taking in good stuff, that cell, eventually you're going to have atrophy, metabolisms aren't going to happen, you're going to have breakdown and disease. So it's really important, whether you're taking some junk on the shelf, it's not really giving you the benefit you think you are, you got to know, make sure you're putting the right stuff in, because time is of the essence. We're only on the planet for so long. We don't want to be unhealthy on the planet. We want to be healthy through our lifespan, and that's what we talk about in our office all the time is, I want you healthy throughout your lifespan. Functional medicine works as, I want to keep you healthy so you don't develop disease, so you don't have to take the pill. Pharmaceuticals is a $1 trillion business, and it doesn't, if you listen to the commercials, they're scary. Right. Okay, it takes 2 seconds. I'm going to work on your mood, okay, and then for 20 minutes, 20, 30, 40, 60 seconds, whatever, they're talking about the side effects of those medications. We don't want to get to that point.
Right.
We want to keep you healthy, okay, so you don't get any diseases and you don't have to take the pills.
You know, that's a great point. But we live in a world where medical doctors have to give drugs or they're going to lose their license. That's the scary part.
Because we have our FDA, our CDC, our federal government, your insurance company, all of you pushing that on them. Plus, pharmaceuticals, remember, those companies have great lobbyists. So they're in Washington every day trying to take your right away from you to buy a vitamin. Okay, I know that for at least 8 years they've been doing that. So, without a prescription. And if you haven't trained the doctor, and to be fair to doctors, they only get one class of nutrition. Right. Okay? The rest of it is disease, 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 and this is the pill you got to give patients. So they need to have more of that behind them so they can teach people how to be healthy. It's great to say to somebody, oh yeah, your CBC and your chem profile looks fine, you know, go eat a healthy diet and I'll see you next year. Well, what does that mean to most people? Right. Your general person doesn't know what that means. If it's sold in the store, why isn't it healthy for me? Why are they allowing it to be sold in the store? Sure. So we need to teach them, and that's what we do in the office. We teach you what is healthy, what's not healthy. How do you make the body perform to its optimal level of health? Okay, so we just don't do that. And I've been a nurse for almost 40 years. I didn't learn that in nursing school. Yeah. Okay, it's what I know now is what I've taken the time to learn.
I've always said health is a lot of common sense. So I'll give an example. Last summer, my mom had a heart attack, as you know, right in front of me, and thank God I knew what to do. And part of the thing, we went to the doctor, and she goes to a regular doctor too, which I'm not thrilled with, but she does. And I go with her. And he said, your iron count's low. And I said, Mom, watch what's going to happen. And she goes, what iron should I take? He goes, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, to me, that guy's not too bright in my head. So I said, I'm going to prove a point to you. Let's go to the pharmacy. We went to Walgreens or CVS in Staten Island.
Yes.
They have, okay, I forget which one it was. I think it was CVS. So I said, Mom, let's go meet the pharmacist. So I went to the pharmacist and I said, it's my mom, Dr. Joe Casper, nutrition doctor. Can you help us? Sure. I want you to show us the best iron you have, the highest quality. So she grabs, this is the one. My mom looks at it because I've taught her a few things.
Right.
And she goes, yellow, blue dye, magnesium stearate. I'm not taking this bleep. That's what she said.
Well, your mom's informed. because she has you.
Right.
Well, most people don't realize that.
Right.
They think, oh, magnesium, great. I can always use some more magnesium. Yellow dye, well, why would they put it in there if it's not okay? And there you have it. Okay.
Right.
I mean, look how many things to different dyes and chemicals you've seen disease entities.
Right.
So yeah, your mom just has to be informed. Most people are not.
Correct.
And of course, she's going to sell what's on her shelf. She wouldn't tell you to call, XYZ and buy those nutrients.
But hold on a second. The pharmacist went to school like I did. Where's common sense?
No.
Come on.
Who backs the medical schools? Who backs all of these schools? Pharmaceuticals.
Correct.
Okay. And they don't want you taking vitamins anyway. But the point being is that they're not taught that. Okay. They'll tell you all about Ativan. They'll tell you all about methotrexate. They'll tell you all about something else. They're not going to tell you about nutrients. That's not their forte. Okay.
This is a horror show.
It's very hard because people go to providers to learn, to understand what's going to be good for them. Okay. And if the provider doesn't know, they can't transfer that information to the person. Okay, so you lose in a lot of ways.
So let me ask you this, Phil, because you have a wonderful practice, which I go to. At your practice, first of all, I know you take lots of different insurance. So folks, you hear that? Philomena takes lots of insurance. Is that correct?
We take many, yeah.
Which is
not
good.
all of them, but many of them.
Right, and that helps because guess what? There are people, Phil, if they have to pay all of out of pocket, they're not coming.
It doesn't matter how much money they make either.
Right, I know that, right.
But everybody deserves health care. It doesn't matter who
agree.
you are. Okay.
And I know you, because you've worked on me too, is you don't spend 2 minutes with your patients.
No, we don't do
You
that.
spend a lot of time. So, and she doesn't, folks, when I've been there, she doesn't bounce room to room in 2 minutes and 2 minutes. You get her for that solid time.
Yes.
The way it should be.
Anywhere from 30 to an hour, I'm in the room with you.
Solid.
Solid. Okay. I need a good history. I need to know what your habits are. I need to know. We teach you about diet, teach you about exercise. We teach you about what's really going on in your body. How healthy is it? And there's many ways to do that. Yes, we can do labs. You can do x-rays. You can do all those things. But we do a live blood analysis. And the reason we do that is because that is showing us function. That one drop of blood still thinks it's in the body, and it's performing. So you see the white cells. You see if there's cholesterol. You see the red cells. Are they too big? Are they too small? Are they ghosting? Are they clumping together? All of these things means something, and it takes about an hour and a half to do a live blood analysis. And so,
You mean not the ones that are doing a health food store for 20 minutes?
No. It takes an hour and a half to actually see what's going on and to dissect those cells. Okay. We look for bacteria in digested food. Is there too much sugar? It tells us about digestion, how well you digesting. Remember, all our allergies begin in the gut. If you're confused about what to do with a patient, clean their gut. Everything is evil in there. Okay.
Right. And it's funny. That's why. Okay. What's my first vitamin? Power Pack 3. Great for the gut health. I have the best, my opinion, vitamin to help your gut issues.
It's so important.
There's other things too, but that helps the digestive process.
The gut is so important.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, so now we just got to think we're actually going to have to end the show, Phil. I want to keep going, but they're ready to kill us.
They're going.
So please give your phone number so people can contact you and where your location of your new office is.
Our new office is at 8417 Washington Place. It's close to the Bloom Fiesta Park, Suite A. Our number is 505-750-0574. Just give us a holler. We're not in the office 6 days a week anymore, but you leave a message if we can't pick up. It's probably, we're pretty busy, and so we'll give you a holler back.
Now, I can send my people to you too, right? If they say they know me, then you'll help them out.
Oh, of course.
Even more. Right?
Of course. Well, everybody is important, and everybody that comes in my practice is like my family. I would do nothing less for you than I would do for my mother, my sister, or anybody else.
I love that.
Okay. My patients get my personal cell phone. They don't have to wait to go through an answering service. They can call me directly. And so
just like I do.
Yes, just like you do. But I take care of them. My concern is that I don't want my kids to have to take care of me when I'm old. Okay, I want to be healthy. I'm going to be like Betty White. Look at her; she's still going at 96.
Yeah.
I want to just go to sleep one day and then that's it. I don't want to be so sick that I'm on all these medications and you can't enjoy your life. Yeah. And that's what I want for my patients because that's what we should be doing every day when we go to work as a provider.
Well, Phil, listen, you rock. I mean, I want to cry. This is the best person that I know in Albuquerque for your health care, Philomena Marcus. And we got to get off the air because they're going to. Folks, that's it. That's a wrap. Take care. We'll see you soon.